show you a super effective, simple, body-based way to calm stress in minutes. Welcome to Nurture Our Nature Counseling. I'm Hilke and I'm a holistic counselor and wellness coach. And I'm also an EFT tapping practitioner. So, EFT tapping to me is completely miraculous. It works so well. My background is in acupuncture, so I have brought my lovely assistant here to show you the acupuncture points, how many there are, and just for company. Um, right, this way. And I just want to tell you how and why it works, show you the points, and then do a quick follow along tapping session. So, EFT tapping was developed in the 80s in America, and it is based on Chinese medicine and the acupuncture meridians, the energy flows through the body. And I just wanted to show you they are all connected. There are so many points. I think when I studied acupuncture, we had to remember 365 points bilaterally with their exact functions and locations and cautions, plus extra ones. So I just want to show you, we're just going to do 8 points, which are sort of the standard, gold standard EFT points. But it is good to see that the whole body is covered, or it's like a web of energy, like you've got the web of blood vessels, you've got the web of energy vessels, and that's what acupuncture taps into. And EFT tapping combines working on this beautiful body-based system with cognitive psychology. And that's what makes it so effective. It combines sort of the best of both worlds and helps you to literally rewire your brain in a short time. And that is also why it is so effective for so many conditions, including chronic pain, anxiety, of course, that's what many people are using it for, but also other things like, just anything. They've done lots of studies for weight loss now. They've done, so anything that you can treat with acupuncture or psychology, cognitive psychology, can be treated with EFT. And it is very gentle. So if you're working with an EFT practitioner, you can absolutely treat trauma and treat post-traumatic stress disorders with a gentle, non-re-traumatizing way, and really treat it for good. It's not just a band-aid solution. But of course, for really deep treatments like that, you'd want to go and see a practitioner. What we're going to do here is self-help. You can do it anytime yourself. And so this is why it works. It is the combination of the two. And we will be using a setup statement. So the sequence that is sort of the gold standard is you focus on the issue you want to treat, number one. Then, as you probably know from me already, you open up to it and you really feel your way into it. Where do I feel this in my body? So if you have a pain in your knee, that's where you feel it. If you're treating anxiety, where are you feeling it? Maybe you're feeling it all over your body, and maybe it's concentrated somewhere. So maybe it's in your chest or your stomach, or your chest and stomach. Maybe it's a feeling in your head, sort of. Maybe it's not located. Maybe it feels like it's rolling around. Maybe it feels like it's like a tight compression or a weight. Just really feel into it. Take your time, because this is really important. And ask yourself, if this feeling had a color, what color would it be? If this feeling had a temperature, what temperature would it be? If this feeling was saying something to me, what would it be saying? So you're really doing the pre-work here. And that's what's going to make your tapping sessions so very effective, that you're really honing in on your issue. And then the second step is you do a setup statement. And the setup statement is repeated 3 times, and you're acknowledging your issue, and you are acknowledging self-love and self-acceptance. Usually it's, even though I have fill in the blank, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. And that is to prevent things from going wrong. Because people say, why do you concentrate on the negative in EFT? And the reason for that is that we don't suppress anything. We concentrate on the issue we're treating, and we're putting our body into a calm state, and we're teaching our brain that it's safe while it's feeling this, and that will reduce the intensity really effectively and permanently. So while we say the setup statement, we will be tapping on the karate chop point on the side of the hand. And then say, even though la-di-da, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. That's 3 times. Oh, and I forgot, I'm so sorry. I forgot, when you're honing in on the issue you're having, give it a number from 0, as in there is no issue, you wouldn't be watching this, to 10. It couldn't be any worse. This is the worst thing in the world. Never experienced anything as bad as this. And you just give it a subjective number, and you remember this number. Best is write it down. Then you do the setup statement 3 times. And then the crucial thing is you keep your issue in mind. And that's what the reminder phrase is for. So let's say this pain in my knee, or this anxiety, or this sadness I'm feeling, or maybe you're tapping on something that you feel you've done wrong and you're ashamed, like, even though I've shouted at my kids, something like that. You keep that bit in mind, and we then tap very lightly with the tips of our fingers. There are acupoints on the tips of the fingers, so you're sort of getting a double whammy of goodness. And you're tapping on the top of the head. That's the first one. So there are 8 points, and we start at the top. The sequence is not important. What's important is just doing all of them. But even if you leave some out, that doesn't matter either. And the reason I like to start at the top, some people like to start lower down and then do the top later. It does not matter at all, but top down is just easy to remember. So you're starting to tap this anxiety, this pain in my knee, whatever this issue I'm having, and keeping it in mind. And the second point is exactly at the inner eyebrow. So you tap on that maybe with 2 fingers. And each time we want to tap at least 7 or 8 times, repeating the phrase and keeping the phrase in mind. So that's the magic sauce. Be as specific as you can and keep it in mind while you're tapping. Otherwise, if your mind's jumping around, or if you then think, oh yeah, I also have this other issue, and then you start tapping on that, it won't work. You need to stick with one thing that you set up. If you remember something else, you can always take a quick note and tap on that later, as things do come up. It's like peeling an onion sometimes. And then the next point is the outer corner of the eye, just where the bone starts on the bone, on the orbit here. Repeating the phrase. And then under the eye, again, just on the bone. Repeating the phrase, this anxiety, this pain in my knee. And then the next point, between the nose and the upper lip, right in the center. And yeah, you could use many fingers or just be very specific. If you're using more fingers, you're bound to hit something. And then again, this anxiety. And maybe you want to hone in on it a little bit more. So this one is between, it's like on the crease of the chin, between the chin and the lower lip, right at the center. And you can say this anxiety that's like a red hot ball in my chest, or this pain in my knee that is that feels like it's stabbing me whenever I'm walking, or something like that. You can describe it to just hone in on it as much as you can. Then the next point is where your collarbone ends. So you've got your two collarbones, and then there's a dip below. And that's about 2 fingers, like your fingers, 2 fingers wide down. And you will just feel the little dip. And this is a lovely one to tap. Many people like this one especially. So you're tapping on that, this red hot anxiety, this stabbing pain in my knee, whatever. Feeling so guilty because I did whatever. And then the last point is directly on the midline, like the center of your underarm, going down to the middle of the bra strap sort of area. So they say it's about 12 centimeters or whatever, but we're all different sizes and heights. Just really, yeah, if you go a hand and a bit down, where it's the height of the nipple line in kids, like not in us older women or in men, like that sort of height directly in the center. So, and you don't have to like raise your arm like I'm doing. You could just go like this. I'm just doing it because I'm trying to show you the exact location. So when you've done that, that's one round of tapping from top down. Then you take a deep breath and you feel the feeling. And you've had a number before. Let's say you were at a 6. Then are you still at a 6? Has it gone to a 7? Has it gone down? Most of the time it will go down. If you're honing in on the issue specifically, if you're being specific enough, then, sorry, that was an itch on my nose, then you will come down. And we want to keep on tapping till you're at 2 or below. If you're at a 2 or below, then it'll usually just melt away into nothing. If it's more than that still, and after one short round, then that it will often be still more. You just start again, focusing on the same issue. And so top of head, inner eyebrow, outer eye, under the eye, under the nose, above the chin, and under the collarbone, and bra strap level in the center. And if you feel that things have shifted, that something's a little bit different with a setup phrase, or you feel like you haven't been concentrating or whatever, then you go and you do another setup phrase. Even though I feel whatever, I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. If you cannot say, if you do not want to say, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, you can say, I accept myself anyway. I acknowledge that I'm a good person. Something like that. Find something you can say. I love myself. Um, these are often hard words, but we want to just get to a feeling of acceptance of yourself. So I've been talking a lot, but this was supposed to be a nice explainer for you to then lead into um, other EFT sessions, and I will link to some others. The next one I will link to is just a shorter demonstration and follow along. So it's sort of like a link to it here, and it is just for you to do a shorter going along. Then I will also link to an alternative, which is without setting up. It's silent EFT, for when you just don't have the words, when you just feel a diffuse wanting to tap, when you want to set yourself up in the morning, when you don't really know what's wrong. It's something that's not often taught, and it works beautifully as well. So I will link to that here. Now, I would love to hear how you're going with this. Please let me know in the comments or contact me if you would like to really work deeply on your issues with EFT or a combination of EFT and breath work or whatever. Just book a session with me or book a free call to talk about what you would like to discuss. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again. If you like this at all, please like and subscribe. That would make a huge difference to me. Thank you so much, and it allows you to stay in touch. Bye.